Hello and good time zones, fellow listeners and amazing individuals. I am Nico Silverado, your guardian of the internet and navigator of the digital grid, and welcome to episode 11 of the Silver Lining Podcast, where we talk about the various fun topics of the internet while also learning about various fun VTubers. And if you have been a longtime listener of today's series, I want you guys all to recognize this fantastic person here today, my man, the Stinger. My man,
Hi.
Stinger, it's great to have you here, and thank you so much for willing to be a part of today's episode. And on top of that, episode 11, and you're our first repeat guest. This is it's a first for the show, and we love to see it.
Awesome. Well, I am glad to be here. I am very excited that that you wanted to have me again, and honestly, I'm just happy to do something with you, man.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It'll be great. Now, for those who have never seen the show before, well, if you guys were here, Stinga was actually our very first guest that we had when we started the series. And what was really cool is before, when Stinga was last on the show, he was actually in the process of getting ready to debut this brand spanking new model that you guys are seeing right here on the stream right now. And I think it's really exciting because, like, Stinga, how has this new model been for you? Like, how does it feel to be in a new skin?
Okay, so I think what I like to call VTubers have a very common thing, which I like to call Suki. I like to call it new model admiration. So basically, think of it this way: you spent like hours and hours and hours designing and conceptualizing this idea of like what you want to look like, right? And then after like a lot of trial and error, you finally kind of walk around to, oh yeah, let's add this. Then it comes to the point where you're looking for an artist, right?
Yeah.
Well, then you're basically browsing VChin, you're browsing Etsy, you're browsing ArtStation, maybe even DeviantArt if you're brave enough. Then you find your 2D artist, your 3D artist, PNG artist, whatever, right? Once you have done that, right? Once you have finally gotten all that stuff together and you finally are able to dump the money, that is when it all comes together, and then the day comes when you finally get that big moment where you finally get your model. And the it's all done. The artist has completed it. You've gotten the approval. You've got everything you want from him, and then that's when you finally receive the file, be it 2D, 3D, PNG, doesn't matter. You finally get that file, and all you do for a solid hour is just stare at it.
Oh yeah.
And smile like an idiot.
Oh
because it's one of those things where it's kind of like, you know, in a very small way, we are creating brands, we are creating characters, we are creating stories. And so to see your character finally come to life, to see him, like, it's him, her, it, they, doesn't matter what the character looks like finally in front of you. And I will tell you, like, I know you and some people here actually saw it. Like, even before the debut, I was posting like silhouette images of this guy left and right. Like, I could not stop having fun in VRM Poser and posing the guy and creating him in different ways and stuff. And I mean, I am. It's one of those things where it's like my previous models, I had a lot of struggle with like trying to really grasp like what I specifically wanted. Like, they were good models, don't get me wrong, but they because of maybe the limitation of myself, maybe the limitation of the skill level of the artist that I had, there was always this like small area of trying to like really grasp like what specifically I was wanting. Yeah. And when I finally went with Yellow Lich, the 3D modeler that did my model, he finally after like a lot of deliberation, a lot of back and forth and stuff, I was able to take the aspects of the older models that I loved, and I was even able to take aspects of the new model, and I finally combined to make, you know, what you see before you. Yeah. And and so if I wanted to as well, I don't know if I could do it in here right now, but if I wanted to lower the environmental lighting on my design, actually, I wonder if I can. Can I? Let me see if I can.
And also, guys, fun fact too, if you guys want to check out what Stinga's original model looked like prior to this new one, check out episode 1. There will be a link in the description, as well as a link to the video at the very end of this.
So I wonder if it actually affected like what it looked like. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm seeing the changes. So
what you're seeing is that like the bits on my model, the red spots, they are actually LED. So they glow. So they glow. So when I go into dark areas and stuff like that, that's what shows up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like it's funny because I remember having this like ideal 3D model that I explained to you, and I actually was with you that I talked about like what I wanted on the model, what I wanted it to look like, what my dream 3D model was, because I was still using the gifted one that Six gave me. But yeah, just to see myself with this one now, even being able to talk back with you, it's really fun. It's been really fun. Like, but yeah, I think every VTuber has that moment where they look at their model and they're like, wow, this looks so cool. Yeah, we just stare at it for like a straight hour, and of course we gotta record, we gotta test it out, we gotta see everything that it can do, and all the physics and all the so yeah, I think every VTuber's gone through that moment where they look at their model and they're like, wow, it's so cool. And there's even like a better sense when you make it yourself. Like when you made it yourself, there's this like artist where there's a level of like, wow, I actually like created this is actually working. It's so cool. So yeah, I don't know, like I think that's the advantage that VTubing has over a lot of other like streaming mediums, is that there's an extra layer of creativity that gets to be put into the character, gets to be put into the streams themselves, because not only are you branding yourself, like creating something for yourself, but you're also creating a whole entire IP, intellectual property in the process. So there's an extra level of like wow, this is like really happening kind of thing. So yeah, that's
honestly, I think it's really cool because like, you know, like you whole said about like you stare at the model and you're loving it. Like when I got this model that I have right now, it took me, I think I spent a solid 2 days off camera messing with the settings, the values, testing myself. And because like for me, my last model didn't have as much of facial expressions, like my eyebrows couldn't move and all that. Like it's just something about having a new identity that really spices up the life of a VTuber. And I think VTubers, it's not that we want to get new models because we're trying to, you know, bring in people. We want to have a new model because we want to see our brands grow. We want to see how our visuals and just like our, like you said, the IP, we want to see that evolve over time. And I think it's really awesome because like, you know, you had so much like passion and love for like the reveal of it, and I was very happy to be able to attend the debut, to see everything go on, and it was really cool to see just like how you were able to, you know, get started on all this. And so above and beyond, extremely happy that you were able to have this model finally in the works for you and it's in full send. How's your community been taking it? Have you had like anyone say like, oh, I missed the old model and so on?
If there's anyone who's ever talked about missing the old models, I mean, to be honest, every time that I have quote unquote rebranded, I say that in air quotes because like a lot of people rebranding, I really didn't rebrand all that much.
Yeah,
I kept the name, I kept the concept. I think pretty consistently, I think the worst I've done is like pull, as some people like to say, pulled an Iron Mouse and like changed my look, but not dramatically. So like,
oh yeah,
throughout every iteration of him, I've kept the same core concepts. So I haven't really changed or rebranded all that much.
Yeah,
I mean, the lore has changed, the feel of the brand has certainly changed once or twice, but not like the entirety of the character. So I haven't really had a lot of criticism, although I will say I do have some people that have preferences, like what they liked better. I know that there's one creator that actually liked 02 the one with the big red jacket on, and I think it's actually the one that you and I met in. And then I know for a fact I have one creator that is very a big fan of 01, the original, but only because of like it's a nostalgic thing for them, and it's kind of like they met me when I was that, and so that's like their preference model. But even with all those people saying that, like the community that I have has been very like excited when I change my look, and it's one that I like, because it's like they've been just as supportive seeing all the upgrades as I have, because with every new model that I've gotten, I've never like went back and like stagnated or switched something around. It's always been, in my opinion, an upgrade. Like obviously my first model I ever made was myself, and it was a very bare bones. The hair physics were really bare bones. The antenna, I didn't have that great of wings. They didn't look all that amazing. But I mean, there was something there. There was style was there. I worked with what I had, you know, like I literally, the only thing about me that was quote unquote yellow jackety was, the fact that I had a literal yellow jacket. I mean, that was about it. Yeah, that was the joke. And obviously, like, my second model was a bit of a change. That was when I started leaning more back into the origin of my character being a tokusatsu. But he didn't really look it all that much. He was more bug-like, which was fine. But I didn't complain because the artist who had created it was like created it for free. I was his first one. And then the second one, the third one I made, which was 03, was far closer to what I actually was envisioning. And he and I went back and forth on a lot of stuff. But like, obviously what he finished off was like really good. It was really nice. But obviously when I was ready for seeing my character more cleanly created with blender items and a lot of armor pieces and stuff like that, I couldn't help though. I had to keep the face that he had created. So I pulled that along, and I told the creator like, I'm gonna, you know, give you this, and I'm gonna like, that's what, you know, I'm gonna keep. And I felt bad because like when I was moving on to this one, I felt slightly bad because like my original artist worked really hard on it, and he means a lot to me as not only just a creator but also just as a person, a friend. And so but he's been very like supportive. He's been very happy that I found like how it looks and things like that, because it's been really nice to kind of like take my original concept that I had, drawing out ideas of being a Beetleborgs Kamen Rider looking character, but having to like create some of the concepts out of limitation. Because not everything that Stinga has was created like pre-thought of. It was actually created based off of like what limitations I had at the time, and what small like feelings of inspiration I had, and honestly like. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question after my long diatribe, like, I am very happy that the people that I have communicated with, the community that I have, the people that watch me and stuff. They like the upgrades just as much as I do. Good. But I think, you know, when I look back at my old VODs, I look back at my old content, I look to my newer content, the two things that I notice is, you know, for as much as my style and look has changed, myself in regards to like my core like concept of who I am has never changed. And I think that's part of the reason why I've kept my community as like consistently as I have, even through all the changes. So
I think like when, you know, like it's funny because VTubers evolve all the time, and certain VTubers, when you hang out with them for a long time, you will notice how they change, how they've modified themselves, you know. Like I remember because like one of the VTubers that I've watched for the longest was Zentreya, and you know, I've watched them back when they were like the OG Commander Zentreya, where they had to type for their TTS, and then I remember when they were Dragon Zentreya, and then when they went into Cyberpunk, you know, It's old paint, new person, and or not old paint, but basically it's a new skin, but it's still the same person. And like, I think no matter what it is, when you have people in your community who have been there for the long run, they're going to be excited because you invested in something for yourself, but also it just adds a visual appeal piece. Case in point, for example, I have a lot of people in my community, especially on the YouTube side, who adore and prefer my bigger model. And then I have people who prefer this model because they think this model is cute as hell, which it is. And you know, it's in a way like you're never gonna satisfy 100% of your audience, but as long as you as a creator are happy with the decision to modify your visuals, then hell yeah. And you know, I think like what's really fun is like, again, it's fun to see you having fun with this new concept for yourself, this new visual aesthetic for you. And I'm really proud to see that you're just really, you're shooting for it, and you're not like, you know, you're not blaming the system. Because like I actually had a Twitter post about this that admittedly I wrote when it was midnight. Note to self, guys, don't write tweets at midnight. You sound a lot more pissed than you should. But I wrote a thing on Twitter the other night at midnight where I told people, okay, a lot of you guys are having, let me see if I'm gonna find it, because I said something that I thought was uplifting at the time, but it kind of sounded like a dick move. Yeah, VTubers get into this new model or die trap. FOMO hits when someone debuts a new design and gets all the hype. Suddenly you feel like you have to spend all this money or get left behind. And you know, when I wrote that, I think what I was trying to like, you know, talk about, especially for this current situation we're talking about here, is it's the fact that, you know, as a VTuber, I think we should only ever update our model if we believe our brand would benefit from it versus riding the coattails of a very popular VTuber. Because I think what happens a lot of times is that a lot of people like to gamble on the idea that if they make a brand new model, the model is going to give them this wave of hype because the aesthetic is so uplifting and so insane that they're going to go from zero to hero. And that's not really ever the case, you know? Like I went and did my chibi model, for example, because I wanted to do a separate style model, and I did kind of want to lean into the cute aspect of it. Coincidentally enough, when I was making my model and getting it rigged, a lot of other bigger VTubers were also doing chibi models. And I thought to myself, okay, damn. But also, like, I think there's sometimes a decision you have to make when it comes to like, what do you want to add to your model and why? You know, because like, because bigger VTubers, when they choose to do a debut, will always pick the most trendy. They will pick a concept that is really, really unique and insane. And then us smaller VTubers, when we try to emulate that, we either get called copycats or, God forbid, we get called on saying, oh, that's not unique, that's not cool. And it's sometimes I think it's the audience size that kind of restricts that, but really though, you know, moral of the story for me is like, I think as long as we as VTubers like choose to make decisions for our models that are for us and not for other people, we're great. And again, I love the fact that you've been just still very dedicated to you doing what you've done with your model. And of course, hopefully, you keep doing really cool things to make it more fun for you. But hell yeah. And so Stinga, what I wanted to kind of talk with you about here today, with you being part of the show, is I wanted to kind of talk to you about just like, you know, the state of things, the realm of streaming, because, you know, I think we've been on streaming for quite a bit, and we're going through a very large and rather dynamic change in the streaming world. And today's episode is talking about the silver lining that we're trying to find here today in regards to what's simply going to be known as the streaming wars. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for those who do not know, streaming has taken a drastic, very, very crazy turn in regards to how we as people are choosing to engage in different platforms, different ways of streaming to gain attention, and also the ways that people are trying to make money using streaming. And so Stinga, my first question to you today in regards to the streaming wars is, do you multi-stream, or are you a single platform style user?
Okay, so so in regards to that, I will tell you this. So when it comes to that, I used to be a multi-platform streamer until I switched over to OBS because Streamlabs was not working well for what I needed it to be.
Yeah.
And so I went from a multi-platform to a single platform because I still haven't been able to figure out how to get the whole OBS to multi-stream thing work. But if I had the option to, I would multi-stream to both Twitch and YouTube, only because of there's actually two reasons as to why I do it. The first reason was it's just more eyeballs on me. Which I'm sure you can like very easily like what do you call that?
Attest.
Understand, attest to, yeah. The other piece of it though is part of it came from the fact that my OG Oshi Senaru was what she did. That's what she does. And so she is the reason I multi-stream at all. Because I didn't think about doing that, because long time ago when I used to be a Facecam streamer, I did not even know the idea of streaming to YouTube. Like that wasn't even like a thought.
Yeah.
I remember still streaming to quote unquote Justin TV. Yeah, dude. And like so it was for that reason I multi-streamed. So it wasn't out of like thinking originally one platform was better over the other. It was more attesting to just the fact of like it was a pragmatic decision. Yes. More eyeballs, more people watching, and it was inspired based on what my Oshi was doing. So that's part of the reason I did it.
Honestly, it's so huge. Like so myself personally, I have been dedicating the past month and a half to have better quality multi-streams to test things out, and I have personally found phenomenal success in using multi-streaming. Case in point, in the past month alone, I've earned well over 600 new subscribers on YouTube from just the multi-stream aspect of it. Because right now, personally, I'm streaming vertical YouTube and full screen YouTube plus Twitch. So 3 separate instances of stream at the same time because gigabyte internet go burr. But what I would tell anyone who's watching here today, multi-streaming is definitely, in my opinion, the way to go as of right now, because number one, certain places will not have good algorithms. Number two, it's really, really difficult to grow when you're only in one basket. Because for me, ever since I've started multi-streaming on YouTube, I have had a lot more engagement, I've had a lot more involvement, and I've had a sense of genuine physical growth on my channel because more people are finding me. And so saying, you said like if you knew how to do it, you would multi-stream. So like if I were to teach you like right now, would you multi-stream?
Yes. Like not even a question.
All right.
That's kind of how my because okay, so actually there was a third reason as to why I multi-streamed too. My computer only has 1 terabyte of memory, and so keeping all of my videos in one place is very difficult. So I pretty much turned my channel initially into a VOD dump. That's what it was, because it automatically uploads it, and unlike Twitch, YouTube actually keeps all their videos on your channel in perpetuity. So anytime I needed to VOD, anytime I needed to go back and watch something, I wouldn't have to download a 40 gigabyte video just so I could re-upload it at a lesser quality to YouTube. And so yeah, if I were to be given the information on how to multi-stream through OBS, I would do it tonight.
Well, guess
because
what?
I do have a stream tonight. So yeah.
I will, after this podcast episode, brother, I will literally give you the keys to the kingdom and I will tell you how to do it. No joke. It will
Nico,
literally...
you are, sir. This is the reason why I call you my streaming big brother.
It will take us 2 minutes. I swear to God, it will take 2 minutes to set up.
Yeah.
So, all right. So before that horrible bleh, so I was talking about the necessity of multi-streaming, and the reason why I talk about it is because I have had very good advice from YouTube partners explaining to me on what I can do to better how I stream. And in a lot of ways, there are situations where when it comes to the streaming, in the world of streaming wars, I believe we have been brainwashed. I believe we have been brainwashed to have this really weird concept, this really weird idea that if we only use one platform, we will build an audience that will allow us to succeed and go on to the long run. That might have been the case back when multi-stream was not as allowed, let alone not as involved. But what I'm talking about is that people who are on Twitch, a long time, Twitch has always said, you're never allowed to multi-stream. If you do this, you're going to get banned. But Twitch has done a lot of things to modify that because every other platform but Twitch, at the time of this recording at least, didn't allow multi-streaming. Until recently, they changed it up. But they have really, really dumb wording in their TOS against multi-streaming because basically this is a very, very digested version of it. If you want to actually read the TOS, I would suggest reading it because it's very specific on its language. Basically, you can multi-stream, but you cannot encourage your Twitch people to go to the other platform, and you cannot mention the other platform. So that's why whenever you're watching live streams and you see people like, hey, don't forget to go to the red app, the purple app, the green app, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers app, like everyone's got to use different languages so they don't supposedly get banned. But I digress. And multi-streaming is, in my opinion, the long-term goal. Let's think for you, my question to you. Do you believe multi-streaming is a short-term or a permanent shift to how the streaming culture is now?
My thing is that I have a very, okay, I'm going to get into a diatribe, but I apologize for any toes that I might step on when I say this. Like, with the current two biggest streaming platforms, and I will not say their names just so I don't get you in trouble, me in trouble, or whatever, but the two biggest platforms right now for streaming that are available, in regards to how they work, they are great platforms, but in regards to how they're monetized, how they are handled, and how they are ran, garbage. Absolute garbage. how they're managed. And these platforms are used out of pure necessity, that they are the most easily accessible and also the easiest to be monetized on. And if it wasn't for the fact that these two platforms are the biggest and the best to do easy access to getting an audience, I guarantee people would shift over to something better if something better shows up, especially if it's better, like, managed, monetized, and handled. Which multiple times we have actually seen people come up, and for the first few months, those platforms usually are very well received, they're very well used, people shift over, people fling over and stuff, and then eventually you see that they again also become mismanaged, because that's the biggest point. That's the biggest unfortunate thing about these newer platforms is that they don't have the legacy infrastructure that the bigger platforms have. And so basically we're stuck kind of working with these platforms that have a lot of things about them that we wish they weren't the case. And the changes that they make kind of stifles and makes things harder. But the new platforms that would allow us to do everything we want usually get mismanaged, or they allow too much. I don't think we should have no rules, but I think we should have less rules, if that makes any sense. So when you get these newer platforms, the rules never focus on like trying to make things efficient because they don't want to be overruled. Because the bigger platforms draconianly rule everything. However, the older platforms that do that have better infrastructure, better monetization, better everything. So it's one of those things where, to answer your question in a very long diatribe way, multi-streaming comes at a necessity for everyone, and I feel everyone should, because you do not know what is going to be happening on any of these other platforms, and you're offline again.
All right, we're just not going to stream. We're just going to keep it a recording only.
But yeah, so for that, like, the thing about it is like, you come to this point where you're kind of like, you can only stream to these platforms out of necessity, and that's all you can do. You don't really have much of a choice in regards to other ones. But again, if the bigger platforms change, if they do better, then there's more stability. But yeah, multi-streaming, I feel like, is a big fat necessity, purely because you don't know what these other platforms are going to do, because tomorrow the platform that you primarily stream on could disappear, or something will happen to where your content isn't allowed on it anymore. So to me, multi-streaming is a necessity. It should be a necessity. Not saying it always is, or that it's able to be a necessity, but it should be.
Yeah.
Because again, you don't know if tomorrow, if the red app is going to pop away, or if the purple one's going to pop away, or the green one's going to pop away, or even like all these other platforms that your streaming stuff allows you to connect to, right? You just don't know. And so that's my biggest thing, is like, yeah, multi-streaming is a powerful necessity, because frankly, as stable as some of these platforms appear, I mean, they're one controversy, one legislation, one server crash, one overarching rule to be rendered moot or unusable. And so, and since we're not streaming anymore, I can freely say, like, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Chatterbait, and all of them, like, as nice as it is to get monetized and make money off of entertaining and make money off of, like, making content, all of them are fantastic in regards to certain things, but they're garbage in others.
Oh yeah.
And so there's no consistency between the platforms. So yeah, multi-streaming to me is probably, because if Twitch disappears, you still have YouTube. If YouTube disappears, you still have Twitch. If, so that's why when people start rummaging, like flying over to different platforms and stuff like that, I don't blame them for doing it, because like Twitch is some really garbage leadership in certain cases.
Yeah.
But then again, YouTube does have some garbage leadership in some of its aspects. Then again, Kick allows you to do a lot more. However, Kick also has garbage leadership that doesn't understand, like, what rules you need to put. So you can't put all your eggs in one basket, but neither does large giant corporations that have succeeded throughout the years do the same thing. Amazon switched from just doing books to doing everything under the sun, and it survived. Walmart was just supposed to be a grocery store in the state of Iowa. Now it basically sells everything, right? So it's this idea of, like, if you want your brand to succeed, if you want yourself to succeed, do not put all of your eggs into the Twitch basket. Don't put all your eggs in the YouTube basket. Don't put all your eggs in the Kick basket, the Chatterbait basket, the Hitbox, like, I remember when everyone was moving over to the platform called Hitbox, right? Who knows about Hitbox anymore? It doesn't have the funding or the name recognition to be, like, easily ran. Okay, maybe you can go over to places like Kick and you have more options to do whatever you want. That's great. I'm glad. However, the problem is that the website itself is so panned by corporations that you can't obviously guarantee that you're going to get money there. And if money and if sustaining yourself, through your content and stuff like that, and being allowed to do whatever you want is something you want to do, then Kick is not an option. But at the same time, you go to places like Twitch or YouTube, and the rules are insane. And so you have to basically mute yourself in certain aspects and not be able to say or do things that you want. But at the same time, it gets you monetized.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I mean, multi-streaming is like one of probably, I would say, the best options. And I would say basically to any new creator, like if your PC and internet can handle streaming to at least 2 platforms, do it. Because you're going to get more, in the long run, it's going to give you more eyeballs. People are going to watch your content a lot more. Yeah, at first you probably will have some struggle, like getting found and stuff like that, but eventually, not everyone stays on one platform all the time. Sometimes you get people from Twitch that run over to your YouTube channel and they prefer it there. You have people that are on your YouTube that prefer your Twitch.
Yep.
So they run over there. So the idea is like I know creators that focus more on their YouTube side than they do their Twitch side.
Yeah.
But they still have their Twitch because they get eyeballs there. There's a big example I actually have, which is my Oshi Sanaru. I was actually browsing Twitch for VTuber creators that were small on purpose because I wanted to interact with them and I wanted to like see how they worked things and how they were going. Senna was doing a karaoke stream because it was one of the things I wanted to do. She had 1 viewer. However, on her YouTube side, she had over 500 subscribers, and she also had 15 people watching on her YouTube side.
Yeah.
So she focuses more on her YouTube than she does her Twitch. However, I still found her through Twitch, and I went over to her YouTube. Now I watch her on YouTube and Twitch. As a matter of fact, because of her little knowledge of how she does with that, she actually allowed me to be her her only Twitch mod.
That's awesome.
But at the same time, like that to me is the biggest thing. Like, just because someone finds you on one platform doesn't mean they're going to stay there. They're going to move to the one that you do. But now that does come with a caveat, though. If you're going to basically stream to multiple platforms, you have to focus on trying to make those multiple platforms worth watching. If you, for instance, like my YouTube and my Twitch I focus more on because it was what I was monetized on faster, and I felt more obligated to try to encourage like viewership on this side because obviously like there's a small monetization aspect to it, but it's also the one everyone I'm around commonly uses. Now for Twitch, the thing about it is that like I've had a lot of people on there. I had a lot of people watch me and stuff like that, but I did have some creators like look on my YouTube. Now on my Twitch side, I have over 700 followers. On my YouTube, I only have like 116. But that's because I focus more on my Twitch content than I do my YouTube content.
Yeah.
And it does become difficult after a while. Like, man, why in the world, like, is the one side growing more than the other? Well, it's because you focus on one more. And I feel like for newer creators, especially starting out, that can be a very difficult hurdle to get over. Like, oh, crazy, now I have to actually concentrate on my YouTube content and my Twitch content. And if you're being so bold as to start streaming to TikTok or even like Instagram, then you have to manage those accounts. And for someone who is just starting out, that is a lot of stress. Maybe not stress, but more like work stuff that they have to add on to. So it's a lot more anxiety that they have to worry about. Now I have to update everybody on my YouTube side. Now I have to update everyone on my Twitch side. So instead of just being like posting something on Twitter and being like, hey, I'm going live, it's now on YouTube, hey, this is my schedule. Now you're on Twitch, hey, this is my schedule. On TikTok and on Instagram, this is my schedule, this is my schedule. And if you are so bold as to use both the black and the blue app, which is Twitter and Blue Sky, then you're also posting to those places. So it's more, this thing is, I think, not as many newer creators multi-stream, not out of like not wanting to, or lack of ability, but it's more like they just don't have the experience or understanding to like get the fact that multi-streaming can help your brand. But if they don't see that instant success, if they don't see that like reason, the utility for it, then you're basically going to have creators that don't realize what kind of stuff they're missing when they do this kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's one of those things where it's kind of like you gotta sometimes, in some aspects, like, I understand that there are a lot of hobbyists. I understand there are a lot of hobby streamers out there, a lot of them. But if you are really committed to this, if you truly want this streaming thing to feel like you're getting something in return, and I'm not talking just monetization, I'm talking like success, popularity, actual dreams coming true in regards to your goals, things of that nature. There are going to be days where you have to turn it into a job, and you cannot be a hobby person. And yeah, there are going to be days that you don't feel like streaming or you don't feel like posting. And guess what? If you want to see that success that you want to see in your stuff, you need to turn on the performance. Like, I myself actually have those days where on screen I look like I am having the time of my life, but in the background behind my face I am basically thinking, this is the most tiring thing I've ever done in the world. Why in the world am I even wasting my time here? And I call it putting on a performance or wearing a mask. And same comes with multi-streaming. There are going to be days where basically, like, yeah, you're going to have to update you're gonna get your spreadsheet out and you're gonna update every single tiny little platform you have. And if you want any chance of having any kind of recognition, you want any kind of chance of any kind of like viewership, you want people just to not be on one platform, you want like 1,000 on one platform, you want 1,000 on this platform, you want 1,000 on that platform. Well, guess what? You're gonna have to put in the work, the time, and the effort if you want to see that. If you're a hobbyist, fine, do it when you can, do it when you want to, and stuff like that. But if you're even the slightest bit committed to making this work, well, guess what? You're gonna have to put in the work to get the results you want. And yeah, I think what comes with this idea of multi-streaming too comes in an extra layer of something being like, now guess what, you now have to put in the extra time and effort to make sure that this time, this money, and also this like bandwidth that you're sucking out is going to some use. So yeah. Anyway.
No, you are right, because like, you know, I of myself have experienced firsthand just how important, how imperative it is to have that knowledge to multi-stream while also dealing with the separate audiences. Because like for me, for example, I have experienced a leaps and bounds change with my new YouTube audience, who I get on average 300 to 400 viewers every YouTube stream, and I get like 5 to 6 people chatting at the same time, versus my Twitch community, which is my long time 7+ year platform. I get maybe 2 to 3 with one person chatting every 10 to 15 minutes per message. So like, you know, it's one of those things where I have to battle with the struggle of, okay, my YouTube, for example, is blowing up. My YouTube is having more people, more engagement, and I see myself getting YouTube partner faster. Case in point, for example, my YouTube back in January was at 1,000 subscribers. As of right now, this recording of the stream, we're at 2,050.
Ooh.
Like, we have shot up because of my recent engagement, my recent methods of how I've been able to do my streaming stuff. And then like my Twitch, for the past like year and a half, I've earned, give or take, 200 Twitch followers in the past like year and a half on Twitch. And it's a situation where like I I had a very like heart-to-heart moment with my Twitch people saying, hey guys, I'm noticing that YouTube is a lot more active than Twitch. I'm going to be putting more effort and more of my energy into YouTube because I'm more likely to get partnered and monetized on YouTube versus what I get on Twitch. And I had to make sure I reiterate to them saying, hey, I'm not leaving Twitch, but I am going to put more effort into my YouTube because my YouTube is genuinely the part of my business or my job that's doing the best. Because, you know, it comes back to my previous situation about how like I think streamers are brainwashed because we're brainwashed into this idea that if we only do the one platform, things will happen eventually, and that's not the case. In a way, we're forcing ourselves to be patient as if something will probably happen, when in my opinion it's not. Because for example, my Twitch, I love my Twitch, I love my community. I've been streaming on Twitch for a very long time, 7+ years. However, the growth is very stagnant, and I'm not getting the viewership I want. However, my YouTube has a lot of people out there, and I talk about this all the time in a lot of my episodes, where how I tell people that you grow on YouTube so that you can eventually bring your YouTube to your Twitch and so on. Because YouTube has always been known as like the video sharing hub, and up until very recently it's now the live streaming segment. But you bring you make videos, you make shorts on YouTube to attract people to your Twitch eventually. And I do believe, and I agree with you, that multi-streaming is going to be the future. In a lot of ways, multi-streaming is going to be the permanent shift, especially with vertical streaming, because vertical streaming is, in my opinion, the biggest thing that is needed in modern day streaming, because everybody's on their phones, everybody's on the go. Not as many people sit down as much. Even, for example, right before this podcast, I found out that Twitch is alpha testing their vertical format section of their streams. So now Twitch is going to start joining into that aspect of it. Now, I think Twitch is going to potentially succeed from this, but I don't think it's going to be as beneficial as YouTube, because YouTube has YouTube Shorts. Because people don't want to watch only like clips. They want to watch skits. They want to watch whatever. Because, you know, with USA TikTok being kind of iffy on whether it's not going to stay, people like short form content. And when it comes to short form content, you know, it's crazy. It's become a required part in every content creator's arsenal. If you're not making short form content, you're not gonna succeed, plain and simple. Because no one cares about just streamers anymore. People want to know what you offer outside of the stream or when you're not live. So what I wanted to talk about next with you, Singa, is like, you know, we talked about how, you know, short term with the multi-streaming and all that, like in terms of like single platform loyalty, do you think it's still valuable in 2025, or do you think it's more so the brand of a creator that's the true home base of your community?
It's kind of a multi-tiered question if you think about it.
Yeah,
because
there's a lot of ways
your
to look at it.
brand, I take it goes all the way back to the early ages of the internet, during early 2010, when the concept of a YouTube creator was going from just some hobbyist who was uploading stupid cat videos to the internet to actual production. And I'm going to go back all the way to creators that I know you are familiar with, such as the Angry Video Game Nerd and Nostalgia Critic, and early PewDiePie, early like the microwave guys, right? And remember, there was a time when these creators ran off platform, created their own websites, and started directly uploading to these websites. And people followed them because I used to be a very huge Nostalgia Critic guy. Like, I watched all of the Channel Awesome people. I watched them all. And the thing about it is I would actually have YouTube and that guy with the glasses on my browser all the time. Now, the thing about it is that when it comes to that, it's a twofold thing that happens, because when you have somebody follow you on Twitch or follow you on YouTube, that is where they found you. That is where they found you. That's where their content comes from. That's where they are familiar with you. And that's going to be one of those things where either you have three tiers of fans. You have your fair weather fans, you have your devoted, and then you're committed.
Hey, where are the keys? I have to move your car.
Move. Yeah. Okay, we good? All right. So yeah, you have your devoted, you have your committed, and you have your fair weather. Your fair weather fans are going to follow you on the platform they originally followed you on and not go anywhere else.
Yep.
They're not going to go anywhere else. Your committed ones will use the preferred platform, but obviously if you encourage them to go to a different platform, they will follow you there. And then your devoted ones will basically follow you wherever you go. And so I think it has a lot to do with the brand itself. That is the most important aspect of your content creation. But you need to create this brand where people are interested in following you wherever you go.
Yeah.
And that's the harder piece of that whole concept, because if you followed someone on YouTube, there's a higher likelihood that you are going to stay on YouTube and you're going to watch them on YouTube. Because I remember there was this time where the creators were like, "Oh, follow me on this other app, follow me on this other platform, follow me on this other one," and stuff like that. And I was watching this one creator who was like, "Oh, follow me on this other platform, and we're gonna like get things going over there because I can do more and I can say more over there," which is not a bad reason to change.
Yeah.
However, their YouTube stayed consistent and lively, but their new platform growed very slowly, and that's because the users on there were not. Some of the users on there were not willing to move over from the platform because they followed them based on the platform, not on their brand.
Yeah.
But some did, and so it's an unfortunate reality of the things, to me, that obviously I've told you before kind of like stoke innovation. Is it readily available? Is it easy to use? And is it convenient?
Yeah.
Convenience, understanding, and readiness are the three aspects of platforms to me that become the most like easily thing. Because I'm sorry, there's a lot of us who are not willing to switch our like platforms easily. If I'm watching someone on YouTube and they tell me to go to a different platform, I'm sorry, that's another app I have to install into my phone. That's not convenient. That's not easy. And as cold as it sounds, it's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, you tell me like, because I have YouTube and Twitch on my phone. It's not impossible. Like, I have YouTube and Twitch on my phone. Now, I as a creator am using both platforms, so therefore that is the reason I use them. So I have a creator's side as the reason I use it. Now, your average user, if they're a YouTube user, they're probably going to be watching shorts on YouTube, and they're probably going to be watching YouTube. Yeah. If they are a Twitch user, they're going to have the Twitch app. They're going to be watching on Twitch and probably nothing else. Instagram, TikTok, Kick, a list of billions of other different platforms. If they were originally from there and they're just a person who just wants to watch, then they're just gonna, as long as you use those platforms and as long as you keep posting to those platforms, they're gonna watch you there. And some creators, they're like, "No, I'm shifting all my content over to this platform." Well, guess what? You're probably gonna lose a third percentage of your user base that watches you because that is the platform they are going to stay on. And they're devoted to that platform pragmatically, and not because of anything against you, but it's just because, oh, if you're going to move platforms, then I'm not going to spend my time trying to switch over because that's just some extra work. I have to make an account. I have to like do this. I have to do this and this and this. And I'm sorry, my life is too busy, or it's just not something I think about. And so yeah, it's one of those things where it's kind of like you got to ask yourself, like, it really is a lot more work on the creator being like, okay, I need to prioritize these platforms, and I need to work on these platforms, and I need to make content worthwhile for these platforms, because most of your audience is not moving. They are not budging.
Nope. And case in point for me, it's like, I remember, so my biggest platform that I had when I was in my quote unquote golden era was a place called Mixer, Twitch's direct competitor for a long time. I had a couple thousand people. I used to have like 20, 30 viewership averages over there. And when the shutdown officially happened, I said, hey guys, check me out on Twitch. Maybe at the best 10 people from my whole community showed up, and they got me to affiliate on my first week on Twitch. But the biggest thing is, like, you know, like, it's convenience, it's loyalty, and it really is difficult to explain to people as to why not everyone's gonna move, because, you know, a lot of times, like, if you're only one person, you're only one creator, as much as they appreciate your content, they might have like 10 to 15 other streamers who are still staying on their original platform. That makes life a lot easier. And, you know, it's, in my opinion, you know, the whole multi-streaming era that's going on right now, I think in a way it's a business strategy for other businesses to inadvertently pull audience from other competitors. So, you know, like, think of it like this. If you're on YouTube and you allow multi-streaming, this allows you to stream on YouTube and on Twitch, and most creators want each of their platforms to grow equally. So the streamer is gonna free advertisement saying, hey, come join me on YouTube, come join me on Kick, or wherever this other platform is. And by allowing multi-streaming, you're literally allowing people to invest time in your other app, invest time on your other platform, which then gives that other company monetization, more money in their pockets because it's a new user. And with Twitch, you know, with Twitch having reservations about that, Twitch understands that all they have is streaming. There's no side content, there's no whatever, and it's just the one thing. And, you know, you got platforms like Kick that are not going to really care about it, because at the end of the day, you know, it's a situation where, you know, Kick is funded purely from their gambling aspect of their stream, you know, stake. And that's how they keep themselves afloat without the needing of their, because, like, the only reason why they have a 95 to 5% monetization cut, real thing, by the way. The only reason why they have a 95 to 5 split is because they don't need streamer subscription funds. They get funds from the gambling aspect that covers everything right away. And it's really, it's really insane.
Yeah, well, the money's got to come from somewhere, and I think that's part of to me, that's the biggest problem of the bigger platforms, you know, even including Kick, you know, is it's part of the reason why you have problems in the normal business industry. What incentive are you giving me to devote my time and my effort to providing something for you while I get something in return? This is the reason why people in business, and I know you know this best too, because you and I are of that age, like, when you're looking for a new job, if you're looking for a job, you not, like, people always ask, like, oh yeah, why did you choose us over this other business? And if people were honest, and I know they know this too, oh, it's because you offered more money than the other guy.
And benefits.
Like that's to me the biggest thing. If Twitch and YouTube, even Kick, or whatever these platforms did, offered a better monetization incentive program, I guarantee you people would run like mad to that. So if you told me tomorrow that YouTube was planning on getting monetized easier, and then on top of that also getting it to where we could hold on a second. But so if you had these companies, like Twitch, let's say tomorrow Twitch basically said, okay, not only going to make it easier to get monetized on here, which, by the way, Twitch has a very, very low bar for entry in regards to getting monetized, and I think that's the reason why they're still afloat, is because they're just easier to get monetized on.
It's even lower now.
Yeah, 50, or I think it's like 50 followers, 2 live viewers, and then you become affiliate, which basically allows you to get monetized. Cool, that's great. YouTube's barrier of entry is a lot higher. This is the reason why Twitch still has Twitch has a lower foundation, but a higher bar of entry. YouTube has a higher bar of entry, but a lower understanding of, like, you know, getting in there.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is, if you told me tomorrow that Twitch was planning on being like, oh, we're going to YouTube, we're going to lower the amount of followers you need down all the way down to 100, and then we're going to make your watch hours even less, and then we're going to monetize you at a better rate than Twitch does. Oh, I guarantee you Twitch would die in like 2 days.
A day.
It would.
Yeah.
It would die. Well, I'm not saying maybe not instantaneously, because I'm obviously exaggerating a ton.
Yeah.
But the entirety of the industry would shift over. Like if Kick basically had this concept where they're like, oh, we're going to make stuff where all you got to do is sign a waiver and we'll instantly monetize you, and you can have all this content, and we have advertisers already in line to like make things run and stuff like that, then boom, people would be flocking over to Kick. It's at the end of the day, it's the unfortunate reality of, as much as creators love to talk about how much they have passion for their project, I guarantee you half of these bigger creators would not do what they're doing had it not been for the monetary incentive, because people want their time to feel valuable. And this is, to me, the reason why so many of our peers use Twitch over YouTube. It's because of the lower bar of entry to get affiliated and to get that accomplishment. It's 52. YouTube is so higher. You need so many watch hours. You need so much more. And just for instance, you're at 2,000 followers on YouTube, and you have so many watch hours, and yet you are still not partnered.
I'm almost there. Tell you what.
I know you're almost there, but it's taken you a while. It's taking you some time. You've had to put a bunch of effort into it and a bunch of like extra stuff into it. But by the way, I'm not downplaying that at all.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Just to be clear. But what I'm trying to emphasize is that the barrier of entry is so much higher, and so much more effort needs to be put in, and most streamers starting out do not have that time, that gusto, and that ability to put that time in. But I guarantee you get a brand new platform that says, we are going to monetize you like the instant you come in here. It's going to be a 70-30 split where you get the 70%, and we already have like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of users already ready to watch you. Like, it's unrealistic, but if there was a platform that had that kind of stuff, I guarantee you they would blow up overnight and would probably have so much sustainability. It would be insane.
Well, and like, what I think that the biggest issue is, like, the reason why a lot of platforms have fallen is because you have too many streamers and enough viewers. And the biggest reason why I think YouTube is still afloat is because the problem with Twitch having such a low bar for monetization is that it removes the effort. It removes the separation between hobbyists and full-timers. Because yes, having more monetization, easy, awesome, it's beautiful. But like Twitch, Twitch's current affiliate, or Twitch affiliate, is the easiest it's ever been. You literally just need to stream and you get it. You basically, like, I could make a brand new Twitch account right now, and I could probably get affiliate within my first month or even less, because it's so simplistic. YouTube, the biggest thing for me is that having experimented with YouTube for over 2 years now, and I'm only now just finally getting love and attention on YouTube. YouTube is giving monetization to those who are actually trying, for those who are understanding the algorithm. Because the problem is that Twitch affiliate, Kick affiliate, really any like streamer only affiliate, they have inadvertently handicapped us because they made us think that we can earn money with such little effort, which is why everyone will flock to a monetizationable platform, because they want money with as little effort as possible. Oh, you want day one monetization? Here you go. And it's like, oh, cool, free money. But guess what? That's also everybody else. And the biggest thing with YouTube is like, YouTube has so many bodies on that platform. Even if they decide to no longer support streaming, they're still gonna have viewers, because people are still gonna upload videos. People are still gonna incorporate stuff. And you know, YouTube, speaking of, you know, rules and such, YouTube had to change their rules again with how the platform is usable. Because for example, on YouTube, the TOS claims you must be at least 13 years old to watch a live stream. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
No, it does not.
I can attest to this day, and for anyone who's watching this video, many, if not 80% of my viewers are below the age of 12. They have,
oh no, that's true.
They have all told me multiple times on stream, I'm 6, I'm 9, I like watching you. Meanwhile, I'm playing Grand Theft Auto. It's like, you're not supposed to be in here. And because like it doesn't stop it. Secondly, you have to be at least 16 to live stream. Now that one's a little bit easier for them to enforce, because we all know what a 12-year-old sounds like. We all know what a munchkin sounds like. That can get banned quick. But as of very recently, as the time of recording, on August 13th, they started rolling out a thing for US users that locks down and puts in automatic parental features to any YouTube account that is below a certain age. Again, this is mostly for American children, but you know, it's a situation where a lot of people are trying to get monetized because it's this whole dream of, oh man, I can make money making Minecraft videos, or I can make money playing Roblox. Like it's a dream that has been given to everybody, and everybody wants it. And up until recently, there wasn't any limitations, there wasn't any statutes that prevented that. And you know, right now, like streaming needs to be kind of like, I think we need to reel it back in. We need to reel streaming back in again, because I think the problem is that everybody wants to do it and they don't see the effort that's required to make it worth our time and effort. Because one of the biggest things, in my opinion, is that you have these individuals who have no effort, no ambition, no desire to try to put enough effort into their streams, and then they create this garbage quality stuff that just floods the stream, and then they get mad at the system. Now granted, those people 9 times out of 10 are not going to go anywhere, because they're going to blame the system mostly. And the people who put effort, research their streams, will do better, and at the end of the day become more popular. Because and even the VTubing space, same exact thing. There's effort in regards to how people create their models and represent themselves, because every streamer, every platform wants people who look good, sound good, and do good to be in a higher place. Hence why YouTube requires you to have 3,000 watch hours in a year. Hence why they want you to have X number of subscribers, because they're not going to just give you money because you exist. They want to give you money because you actually show that you're putting in effort. And one thing I tell a lot of people who are watching this, or people who are in my audience, I tell them all the time that in VTubing, you can't just be a stiff model anymore. You know, you can't be a model that just barely moves and wiggles in a really awkward way. There's a level of expectation that's needed to be seen as a nice model individual. For me, the only reason why I've been able to earn almost 1,000 new subscribers this year in August, the past 8 months, is because I invested my time and money in a nice new model that has allowed people to say, wow, your model looks really cute, I'm gonna stand and watch, you know? Or because like it's the lack of effort, in my opinion. And multi-streaming is a bit more of an effort-based thing, because now you do have to be really good at dividing your attention while still finding a way to focus and communicate with your fellow individuals and people. So Stinga, my question for you is, in this case, do you believe multi-streaming changes the viewer experience, or does it kind of open the doors for growth? Because for a lot of people, and for Twitch, for example, Twitch sees multi-streaming as a way that it fragments communities, meaning that you as a streamer inadvertently say, hey, my YouTube gang is cooler because there's more people on this platform, or there's more people on the stream, you know? And like, I run into this issue myself. Where every time I live stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time, YouTube blows Twitch out of the water. The interactions, really hard for me not to see on YouTube, whereas Twitch is very stagnant.
So in regards to that, that's another case if it comes down to the creator, honestly. Because think of it this way. I remember someone explaining it in a very oddball way. So you can't upload a video badly. It's impossible. Your video itself may be terrible and of low quality, 240p looking 2010 era joke video, but you still uploaded the video.
Yep.
You can turn on OBS and stream to Twitch, and you may just basically be some weird Cheeto dusty mouthed oddball dude staring into the abyss at the audience saying absolutely nothing, but you still live streamed. The tools as to which we use, be it the tools and the platform that we use, do not matter in the slightest. The biggest thing that matters to a creator's arsenal is you yourself. That is it. Because at the end of the day, there is always going to be somebody bigger than you.
Yep.
There's going to be your Zentreas, there's going to be your Markipliers, there's going to be your ninjas, your Bow the Whales, your Hololives, your formerly Bishojo. But anyway, sorry, subtle jab. Anyway, at the end of the day, what matters is the personality behind it. The person running it is what is going to draw people in.
Yeah.
Your tools that you use, be your streaming platform, your content platform, your models, everything else is simply a tool to get the eyeballs on you, the creator. And to me, at the end of the day, to answer your question, all of those things do not matter. It is the creator himself, herself. It's the creator themselves that is what is going to make or break the stream, because it's how you use those tools that you've been given that is going to dictate whether or not you're going to survive anywhere. So yeah, I guess that's my thought process on that. Like, you can use every thing in the book. You can spend thousands upon thousands, and this is part of the reason why you get so many creators that actually get upset with the system, because you have a creator that has spent $10,000, and I actually know of a creator that spent $10,000 on their model and setup, and they have yet to see substantial growth.
Yeah, that's...
And some creators will get angry and upset, and they will blame the system. But again, that's part of the reason I made the emphasis about the whole upload and the live stream thing.
Yeah.
You have to be creative with your tools you were given. You have to be creative with the things that you've done, because this is entertainment. I'm sorry, but the sad reality is that a farmer, when the chips are down, a farmer is going to have value to a group of people than the entertainer is. So you have to give the emphasis of what you bring to the table, what makes you more entertaining, and in a lot of ways better than the competition next to you.
Yeah.
And it is so unfortunate that people don't want to think about this. Friendly competition is not a bad thing to have.
No.
Because at the end of the day, as much as we all work together and try to make things better, we are still competing for people's attention.
Yep.
We are still competing for that pool of 1,000 viewers, and it's going to dictate whether or not I get 80%, 20%, 10%, 5%, or 100% of those viewers. How do you stand out? You can stream to Twitch, you can stream to YouTube, you can multi-stream, you can not multi-stream, you can do all this excess junk to get more eyeballs on you. But will they stay?
Yeah.
Because I have helped so many creators get to if to hit their 100 goals on their YouTube accounts and all that fun stuff. But if the viewership, but if they themselves do not put in the effort to, because you can throw millions of viewers and millions of followers at a creator, that does not mean that those people are going to stick around.
No.
The gesture of a follow is very nice.
Yes.
But I follow the same philosophy that I hear my friend Digi talk about all the time. Do not follow me if you do not want to watch my content. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that number is just a number.
Yep.
And if I get a follower and it's someone who isn't even passingly interested in watching my content in the future, that number is going to be hollow.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I know I got on a huge diatribe to answer your question, which I have multiple times, but I don't know, like, this is something that kind of like personally, like, you know, comes to me is like this thing where, you know, listening to you talk about how successful your YouTube's been and how much growth you've gotten and how much how much grip you've had on being able to like make things actually work on there is like so awesome to hear. Like I love hearing it. Because like I feel like too many times a lot of content creators are going like, oh man, I have 400 followers but only like 2 people ever watch my streams. What are you doing to make that better?
Exactly.
What are you doing to offer value? Because I'm sorry, there's going to be people that are playing Mecha Break, and I get it. I'm probably going to get like 10 viewers, and then I see Zendrea playing it, and she's getting 1.5K. Yeah. She is the more experienced and better streamer than I am because she actually has infrastructure and the ability to do this full time. I don't. So obviously people are going to run to the established, bigger content creator.
Yeah.
So it comes down to me of being like, okay, what do I offer that's different from her? What do I offer that allows my viewers to say, I can't get this content from anyone else except for you?
Yep.
And that is the difference between like people who are going to be successful, people who aren't going to be successful, because I find it hilarious when I see these creators who go to these platforms, that go to these like conferences. I remember having one creator, he was like, I have 115,000 subscribers and I was able to create this growth through hard work and this methodology that I'll show you how to do it. And I became this big because of this. Okay, question, where's your viewers?
Exactly.
Where's the view count? Where's the like like actual success here, because what I see is someone who just learned how to game the system and just played in the system and gradually grew.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you get a creator that blew up, got over 1 million subscribers because he farted once on stream because everybody thought it was funny.
Yep.
And he rolled with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you have that creator has 115,000. He says he's this expert growth guy. Meanwhile, Jimmy here, the streamer Jimmy here, literally just went, "It is Wednesday, my dudes." And got millions of people following them, and they now have a very well established YouTube and Twitch content farm. Like,
it takes
it's personality at the end of the day.
Personality in the right moment and the right kind of content, because literally people, it like the Hawktua girl, you know, she got famous for literally a 30-second clip, even less than that. It's in like one of the biggest things, you know, is like for me, I saw my Twitch and I wasn't feeling that my Twitch was going to be giving me a lot of opportunity. Like for me, my Twitch was stagnant. I accepted that ideology very quickly, which is why I went and dedicated into YouTube, because when you look at it at the end of the day, is that fundamentally Twitch just was not going to give me the viewership I wanted. So I went over to YouTube and I put effort into starting and establishing myself there. And only up until now have I finally been earning some degree of growth there. And, you know, like if anyone who is here, the streaming wars are simply ways that you can pick a side. But with multi-streaming, you can choose to be on all sides and dip your toes in everyone's pot. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who's in charge of how you're going to be able to grow. You are the one who's in charge of how you're going to actually, you know, invest time to grow as a creator. Because literally, the biggest problem is that the system's not going to help you. No, YouTube and Twitch does not care how long you've been on the platform. If you're not funny, you're not going to grow. And, you know, for any creator here, one of the biggest things I can always tell you guys with absolute assurance to myself is that you need to find out, like, this is another thing. We need to get back to remembering the analytics do matter. The numerical value of your stuff does matter. You know, like if you have an audience that enjoys you playing a certain type of game, you may need to consider focusing on that type of game in order to maintain your audience. Case in point, for example, you know, I know that I get at least double my average viewers when I stream Minecraft. Even though Minecraft's not my personal favorite game, if I do want to see the degree of growth, I do want to kind of tap into that a little bit. Analytics do matter when it comes to the streaming wars. If Twitch is not doing it for you, consider looking at other platforms and other options that you think will give you options. That's what's really good about multi-streaming, is that you don't have to leave the platform to test your theories. You know, if Twitch is not doing it for you, you can multi-stream on Twitch and YouTube to establish yourself on both ends there. What I like about multi-streaming on YouTube when I do my double widescreen streams is that the moment I'm done recording and streaming, I have a VOD on Twitch and a published full screen VOD on YouTube at the quality that I want, with next to no upload or rehashing or reworking. So it comes down to just, you know, using the tools that are available and understanding that it's okay if someone gets big and famous for 1 or 2 moments. It's going to depend on whether or not they're going to, you know, continue on and stay famous. Because literally, like a lot of these guys will get famous for like 2 or 3 months and then they're gone. They poofed because literally they are a candle on both ends burning at maximum brightness, you know? Like for me, I believe the average shelf life of a content creator and streamer is 3 to 5 years on average, because, you know, whether it's within 3 to 5 years, either A, burnout, agencies fire them, they quit the agencies and so on. Like most of the current creators that were really big and who have left or became independents are all within the 3 to 5 year mark. So Sting, I want to kind of like get some of your last little opinions as we kind of get towards the end of the show here today. And for you right now, do you believe multi-streaming is going to reshape the idea of competition, not just between platforms? Or do you think, like, basically, do you believe outside of just the platform itself, do you think restreaming is gonna reshape competition between other creators?
As long as the corporations who run these platforms continue to play ball and only concern themselves with view count, because that's what they care about the most at the end of the day. That's what makes them their money. That's what makes them their content. That's what makes them their staying power. As long as that's all that matters to them, then at the end of the day, creators who decide to start multi-streaming, it will come down to what matters to the creator themselves. What do they offer? What are they giving away? What kind of concept do they have? Is it something that interests people? Because again, entertainment is a very fleeting thing, and people are going to only run to what they find as enjoyable. Now, that again all depends on whether or not these places want to keep playing ball. However, if tomorrow Twitch and YouTube decide that if you dare stream on the other platform and we find out that your streaming stuff allows you to multi-stream, we will ban you for that, or we will remove you, or we will not allow you to stream because we've detected blah blah blah. Then it will come down to which platform you choose. Because again, everything hinges on the way that these platforms want to handle their creators.
Yeah.
So I think it very much has always been and will always be useful to multi-stream. It's going to be very advantageous to you, because at least if you can multi-stream and get to different platforms all at once, you are allowing yourself to be seen by more people. And yes, if you have devoted enough community and fans, if one platform says you can't be here anymore, they will follow you if they want to, or if they can. But if not, if these but if you don't like allow yourself to diversify, if you don't allow yourself to expand, you know, and get to these like multiple, you know, places, you get more eyeballs on you, then you don't have that opportunity to do that in case those things happen. So yeah, I mean, like, again, it goes all the way back to the old 2008, 2010 era, when creators started just throwing their content on websites because they didn't have anything backed up to allow themselves to make money off of what they wanted to do. And so out of necessity, they had to throw themselves onto these different platforms while still posting to YouTube, because it was a way to get eyeballs. So I don't know. I would say if you are a content creator who wants to have staying power, like somebody who wants to have some actual like growth, I would highly recommend for diversifying your streaming platforms, diversifying like everything. But I would also be very careful as to say that these individuals who just stream on one platform, then like I would be very careful as to like how harsh you are to them as well, because like not everyone has the ability or option to do that, and especially on the lower end of things, maybe not. But like, yeah, if you want to see yourself grow, if you want to see yourself expand, you want to see yourself like do better and have that contingency, and you do feel like content creation is something you want to put yourself on, then diversify, expand, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't do it. It's basic business 101. And that is the biggest recommendation to any creator I would have, is don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify, expand, but however, at the end of the day, keep to yourself, keep being yourself, though. Keep being yourself, because the greatest content that you offer is you. Yeah, regardless of what streaming platform you go, the greatest thing is you. So I agree with you that, like, I don't think it's necessarily a streaming war when it comes down to the content creator themselves. I think what it is it comes down to having a small level of business acumen.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, you put all your money in a single investment at Wall Street, and every investor in the world is going to tell you that that is the dumbest thing you can do. You need to put your money in different stocks to be able to, in case one tanks, you still have something.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And yeah, Twitch is easy to get monetized on.
Yeah.
But YouTube to me has more staying power, and I think always will.
Oh yeah.
Because it's the OG, it's the biggest, it's the one that's ran the longest, and it's basically what I like to call internet's Hollywood.
Yes.
As much as you may not like it, and as much as it's got some really big problems on it, you can't deny the fact that YouTube has something that works and something that allows you to make things work. But at the same time, you know, don't skip out on your Twitch crowd, don't skip out on your YouTube crowd, and even still, like, yeah, well, if you really want to see yourself, like, expand, throw yourself on Instagram and throw yourself on TikTok. As much as you may grow, as much as sometimes as a as a boomer or millennial content creator may roll your eyes and go, oh my goodness, this platform, do it. Do it. Because I'm sorry, there is a small level where selling out of it, not completely, but selling out of it does help. And again, like I said, like, content creation, just as everything else, it's a business. It's a side hustle. For some, it's a primary hustle. For some others, and sometimes you gotta treat it like it's a job.
Yeah.
If you want to see actual growth, if you want to see actual, like, goals being met, you gotta treat it like a job sometimes. And it's gonna suck, and it's gonna stink, but if you want to see anything, any results of your efforts have any flourishment, then there are going to be some days where you literally have to sit down and go, man, this feels like a job. And yep, it is.
Oh,
congratulations. Yeah. If you want to see anything better than what you have now, you're going to have to put in some extra effort more than you have now.
Yeah.
And if you find your lucky streak, if you find that, like, moment where suddenly everyone's, like, blowing up on you and stuff like that, that's the day you got to ask yourself, am I willing to commit myself to changing myself just a little bit? Oh man, I wasn't really a Minecraft player before, but I got like 100 viewers on Twitch and YouTube while we're playing Minecraft. Well, guess what?
We're playing Minecraft.
You gotta ask yourself, do you want to continue this trend? Do you want to make, like, is that the content? It's like, do you want that viewership? Do you want to keep that viewership? Well, you better become a Minecraft, you know, VTuber for a while.
Yep.
And also accept the fact that if you pivot content back to what you want, you're probably going to lose more than half of those viewers. And, you know, sometimes trends are what you got to get yourself into. Not everybody's going to do it. I remember one of my first ever streams that I did right afterwards was Pal World. Oh, that was terrible. I played, so the story goes, I basically had a bad experience like this. So I wanted to play System Shock, the remakes of System Shock, right?
Yeah.
So I went to Steam and I bought my copy of System Shock. Come to find out that the brand new game on the block was Pal World, and everybody was playing it, everybody was watching it.
Yep.
And I was like, oh no, it's a trend. I better pop on this trend. So I returned to Steam my copy of System Shock, the remake, and buy Pal World with that money. And I regretted that decision for the rest of my career. Because I played Power World to a total of 2 viewers. That was it. It did not serve me in the slightest. It did not work out. It was bad, and I do not like streaming games like that at all. I like those games just fine, but I do not stream well with crafting games like Minecraft, adventure games like Power World, slow paced stuff like that. I don't do well with it, and it sucked.
No.
And I had to wait almost an entire year before I actually was able to get enough money again to buy System Shock and start playing it. And guess what? BioShock and System Shock are the greatest content I have on my stream.
Hell yeah, bro. Like, you can't control that. You can't control what games do really well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You really
and
can't.
So, but that's the thing. Sometimes you're gonna have to take a risk. Sometimes you're gonna have to make that calculation.
Yep.
And yeah, if you suddenly one day decide to play Minecraft because of some dumb dare or some like incentive or whatever, and you suddenly get like 100 viewers, you have to in that moment ask yourself, am I willing to change myself a bit to maintain this viewership, and hopefully I can switch over to what I actually want, because that's what a lot of YouTubers do. That's what a lot of Twitch guys do. I know a creator named Scott Falco, who he literally started out making silly Overwatch content. That was his bread and butter. That was the point as to reason why people watched him, was his Overwatch content. He made reviews on all the characters that came out and stuff like that. And guess what? Scott hated Overwatch. He hated the game. He hated the concepts. He hated everything about it because it just wasn't him.
Yeah.
And eventually he had to make that announcement. He said, I am no longer going to make Overwatch content on this channel. I am varietizing. Bro does Legend of Zelda speedruns now. And guess what?
That's his jam.
More than half of his more than half of his community that came through from Overwatch, me being one of them, by the way, we still watch him.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, he as a creator is very, very, very cool. And that's the other thing. Just because you hop onto a trendy game and you get that like burst of popularity and you have to stick to it, does not mean that's what you have to stick to forever. Stick to it. Keep going. Maybe you should become a Minecraft expert if everybody's like really watching you for your Minecraft stuff. Well, guess what? You got to be like Tony Stark. When did you become an expert on Minecraft? Last night. So you gotta like ask yourself, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to put up with? What do you want to connect to and stuff like that? And yeah, but don't worry, eventually you will have an audience that will want to watch you for you. And if you yourself are good enough as a personality, then your games are another tool in your arsenal to make people want to sit and watch you.
Oh yeah.
And so like, yeah, I think a lot of times, like, be yourself as much as you can, but yeah, sometimes selling out just a little bit while still maintaining who you are, it might have to happen if you want to see growth. Sacrifices have to be made for success to be seen. And that is the biggest thing I think that is going to make or break you as a content creator is you have to ask yourself, what am I willing to do to obtain the fame and the content that I want to see eventually?
Yeah.
And am I willing to sacrifice things I want to do for stuff I need to do to keep myself in the cultural zeitgeist and like people's attention?
Yeah.
So yeah, if I knew tomorrow that someone told me, oh, guess what? You have to play Genshin Impact to become a famous VTuber overnight, I am not afraid to say that I would actually start playing Genshin Impact. And if I knew that eventually I'd be able to go back to what I wanted to, and people enjoyed me for my personality and stuff, then I would see Genshin Impact as a way for people to spot me.
Yep.
And then I would do my best to keep them here based on me.
Yeah.
Not Genshin, not Minecraft, not BioShock, not System Shock, not any of the other games. It's me they want to be here for. And that would be the most important thing. And yeah, I would know that if you pivot over to something else, yeah, you're going to lose those. You're going to lose them. You're going to lose some people.
Yep.
Because you're no longer playing Genshin Impact. And so your viewership's going to go down by like 60%. Well, you still got that extra 40. And so like that's the other thing. Like, yeah, I mean like, yeah, so again, at the end of the day, when it comes down to the streaming wars, it doesn't matter what platform you're on. At the end of the day, it's the streamer themselves that matters, the content creator that matters, and what they're willing to do, and that effort will be seen. And you know, showbiz ain't for everybody.
It ain't.
Sorry. It's not. And I see these content creators, I've seen some content creators in my time who do everything they can. They spend their money, they put it up, and it's unfortunate. I actually have seen someone recently who I thought was doing fine and they were good at it. They just never had the ability to really get that like big push that they ever needed, and they gave up and graduated. And it was really, really, really disheartening to me when that happened, because I actually love that content creator and became a good friend of mine too. But yeah, it was the most like heartbreaking thing because they left before they had the opportunity to blow up, and they were doing fine to me. But you know, showbiz just wasn't for him.
And the streaming wars do have a tendency to, you know, the streaming wars at the end of the day, it affects everybody differently. There are many of us who are involved in the streaming situation now, where we are constantly trying to figure out what side do we want to stand on and what do we want to do at the end of the day. And you know, I firmly believe, and I agree with you, Stinga, that you know, the streaming wars are not about the platform, it's about the streamer. And for those who are watching here today, as we get towards today's silver lining, I want us to remember that the streaming wars are not necessarily a war against the viewers or the creators. The streaming wars are just companies attempting to find out as many ways as possible to incentivize us as creators to stream on their platforms. If you are a smaller streamer who is trying to figure out where to call home, I think you need to be able to understand that you are allowed to pick where you want to stream. If you are a smaller creator with a small audience, you do not need to put your flag on one place. Take advantage of today's technology and today's open policies about multi-streaming, and test out every platform that you feel comfortable being in. However many you feel like you can maintain an actual legacy and community in. And you know, what I want to tell, once again, of the silver lining is that it's okay to do multiple streams. It's okay to pick and choose and experiment. If you are a content creator who's in the hobbyist aspect of it, stream to your heart's content and do not worry about the analytics of it all. If you are a content creator who's trying to make a career out of this, understand that some places will do better than others based on how their algorithm is. Make sure you research and make sure you talk with other creators who use other platforms to explain to you what they see as the best positives, the negatives, and reasons why they currently stream onto it. And I want to thank everybody who's been here today on today's episode, because this is a topic that has been kind of plaguing me a lot, because I want this to be a topic to discuss in regards to streaming's going to get harder. Streaming's going to get a lot harder over the next couple of months, because policies are changing, people are quitting, people are joining random platforms, and it really kind of just depends on the next couple of months and how we as creators go about. So Stinga, as we wrap up things here today, do you have any questions for me or anything you wanted to kind of get off your chest about today's topic?
No, only the fact that like, I honestly, when it comes to getting things on my chest, I think I've been very clear as to how I feel about it. Like, as much as I love doing the entertaining and doing all this stuff, the platforms that we have and are available to us right now, I would definitely say have more than enough room for improvement, and could do a whole lot better in how they handle things. Being Twitch and YouTube, especially the two big ones. I've seen policies on YouTube that have turned the platform from what was once a very flourishing, profitable, and enjoyable platform to use to something where you feel like doing anything on that platform the wrong way is instantly going to get you completely robbed of everything you've worked for. I also can tell you that Twitch is definitely a platform that at first I used out of pure necessity, because when I first started, I will admit, I thought Twitch was a garbage platform. Its bigger issues are certainly nearer to the top. And it's one of those things where it's kind of like, if you're a bigger content creator on Twitch, it's a lot more, your stability there is a whole lot more tenuous and a lot more worrisome. And it's like one of those things where it's kind of like, as time has gone on, I've discovered you use the platforms for the way you can, and understand that no platform is perfect. Every single one has their problems. Every single one has the things that they need to work around. And how the game is played at the lower end of the spectrum of the content creation of these platforms is very different from the bigger end too. Yeah, so when it comes to, you know, your point of saying, hey, multi-streaming's worked for me, multi-stream is one of these things, it's like, yeah, I cannot agree more, because who knows, the next day you might say or do something on Twitch that's going to get you banned permanently, and you didn't even say anything what you felt was wrong. Like you didn't even do anything wrong. It's just Twitch decided one day that it's decided to change the rules. Yep. You know, and then YouTube's the same way. As much as its discoverability and I think its infrastructure is a whole lot better, it's still the same problem. You could do or say something different on that platform that get you banned off of it, or removed, or demonetized, and there goes all that hard work you put into it, and it's gone. One YouTuber basically described it as, you come into work and your boss says, hey, guess what, you're gonna do, remember all that work you did yesterday? Well, guess what, you're not getting paid for any of it. And it's simply because you grumbled about how the day was hot, you know? And yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, to me, you got to be smart about what platforms you stream on, and multi-platform streaming is probably the best way for you to not only get the most views, but also get the most sustainability. And also, yeah, in case something happens where you get banned on Twitch or YouTube simply because they changed the rules on you somehow, and suddenly what that one thing you did or said last week apparently isn't fly now, well, guess what? Your butt is gone. Yep. And so that's part of the reason why I will keep saying, like, I will stream on these platforms, and I love the fact that we have people that are able to watch us, but I would definitely say that the higher upper echelon of these platforms have a lot that they need to improve on before I feel comfortable devoting myself to one singular platform. And at the end of the day, that's not even a smart idea, even if you do have like faith in one platform over the other, you know? So well, that would be pretty much it.
Honestly, thank you so much for that, Sing. And honestly, again, I just want to thank you so much for being here with us. I want to thank you for, you know, taking the opportunity to have this really wonderful discussion about this really big topic. And I'm excited to see what changes come about, and I'm excited to see how you personally will choose to get involved in the next overcoming days. But again, it's awesome, and I'm very happy to see that these are gonna be some really fun days over the next couple of times. So as always though, for those who are watching us or listening to us today, if you guys did end up enjoying today's podcast, consider liking, subscribing to the channel, as we do have these upcoming podcasts happening very frequently. And if you want to see Stinga's original debut episode, as well as the debut episode of the podcast, check out the link in the description, as well as check out episode 1 of our show, as it has been great to have Stinga here again as our first repeat guest. And if you want to check out Stinga and his upcoming future videos and future content, check out his Twitch, twitch.tv/thestinga. There will be a link in the description as well. And if you want to ever be a part of our live studio audience recordings of these episodes, feel free to come join me on my Twitch, twitch.tv/NicoSavarado. Nevertheless, though, thank you, Stinga, for being a part of today's episode. Thank you to our listeners for giving us another lovely day and another opportunity to have a wonderful, wonderful day of chat. I've been your host, Nico Savarado. This has been episode 11 of The Silver Lining. Adios, sayonara, and goodbye.